the invisible problem. We all brush our teeth, floss, and visit the dentist regularly. Pain, cavities, and checkups are obvious. We see them, we feel them, and we act immediately. But when it comes to our minds, we often ignore the warning signs. Anxiety, stress, or low mood creep in silently, without any visible cues. Why is it so easy to take care of our teeth, yet so hard to care for our mental health? Why do so many people delay seeing a psychologist even when they know something is wrong? In this video, we'll explore the reasons behind this paradox. We'll uncover the social pressures, fears, and misconceptions that keep people from seeking help, and reveal what psychologists explain actually helps. If you want to stay on top of these insights and never miss a tip about mental health, hit that follow button and activate the bell right now. Don't wait, stay informed. Why mental health is ignored. Mental health is often overlooked, even though it affects every aspect of our lives. Unlike a toothache, which is visible and demands immediate attention, mental struggles are invisible. Anxiety, depression, stress, or persistent low mood can go unnoticed for months or even years. People tend to ignore these signals because they're subtle, internal, and hard to quantify. Stigma plays a major role. In many societies, admitting to emotional struggles is perceived as weakness. Phrases like "just toughen up" or "it's all in your head" discourage people from seeking help. This social pressure leads to a dangerous pattern. Individuals try to manage alone, often relying on distraction, avoidance, or temporary coping mechanisms. Fear and misunderstanding add another layer. Many avoid psychologists because they don't know what therapy involves. Will they be judged? Will they be medicated? Will they have to confront painful memories? Unlike visiting a dentist, where the procedure is clear and predictable, therapy can feel uncertain and intimidating. Another problem is prioritization. People often schedule dental appointments regularly but postpone mental health check-ins indefinitely. They wait until symptoms become unbearable or start affecting relationships, work, or daily life. By then, the issues are harder to manage. Finally, cultural factors influence behavior. In some countries, mental health care is normalized, while in others it's rare or even frowned upon. Family expectations, societal norms, and media portrayals all shape how people perceive seeking help. The result? A widespread neglect of mental well-being, even though early intervention can prevent serious long-term consequences. Recognizing this problem is the first step toward change, just like noticing a toothache before it becomes a cavity. Fear, misunderstanding, and delay. Once we understand why mental health is often ignored, it's time to dive deeper into the main obstacles: fear, misunderstanding, and delay. These factors combine to keep people from seeking help, even when they desperately need it. Fear is the first and most powerful barrier. People worry about judgment, stigma, or being labeled as weak. They fear that sharing personal thoughts or emotions with a psychologist could make them vulnerable, or that their problems will be misunderstood. Unlike dental care, where the process is predictable and professional, mental health treatment feels uncertain. The fear of the unknown can be enough to postpone appointments indefinitely. Misunderstanding adds another layer of complexity. Many don't know the difference between a psychologist and a therapist, or assume therapy is only for serious mental illness. This misconception leads to unnecessary hesitation. Psychologists react to these fears daily, emphasizing that therapy is a safe, structured space designed to help, not judge. It's not about labeling or controlling you, it's about understanding, coping, and growing. Delay is the natural outcome of fear and misunderstanding. Humans are wired to prioritize immediate, visible problems over long-term, invisible ones. A toothache demands attention today. Anxiety, stress, or mild depression can be ignored for weeks, months, or even years. Unfortunately, mental issues often worsen over time. The longer someone waits to seek help, the more challenging it becomes to manage symptoms, affecting relationships, work performance, and overall quality of life. Cultural and social factors reinforce these behaviors. In many communities, openly discussing mental struggles is discouraged. Friends and family may unintentionally reinforce avoidance by minimizing emotional pain or offering simplistic solutions like just think positive or get over it. Social media creates a false sense of perfection, showing only happy, successful lives and making it harder for people to admit they are struggling. Understanding these barriers is critical. Psychologists explain what helps: early intervention, education, and supportive environments. Therapy is most effective when people recognize the signs, confront fears, and act proactively, rather than waiting for a crisis. By addressing fear, correcting misunderstandings, and reducing delays, we can bridge the gap between mental and physical health care.
How psychologists help. Now that we understand the obstacles, it's time to look at solutions. How do psychologists actually help people overcome fear, misunderstanding, and delay? First, they create a safe and confidential space. Unlike the uncertainty that keeps many away, psychologists provide structured sessions where patients can share freely without judgment. This environment encourages honesty and reflection, which are essential for meaningful progress. Knowing that your thoughts and feelings are respected can reduce fear and increase willingness to seek help. Second, psychologists focus on early intervention. Just as preventive dental care stops cavities before they become painful, therapy addresses mental health concerns before they escalate into severe problems. Small, consistent steps, like talking about emotions, practicing coping techniques, or identifying stress triggers, can prevent long-term complications. Third, education plays a critical role. Many people avoid therapy because they misunderstand it. Psychologists explain what helps. Therapy is not about labeling or diagnosing you as broken. It's about understanding your mind, learning practical strategies, and building resilience. Clarifying the difference between psychologists and therapists also removes confusion, making mental health care feel more approachable. Fourth, psychologists encourage proactive mental hygiene. Just as we schedule regular dental checkups, regular mental health check-ins can become a habit. Journaling, mindfulness, cognitive exercises, and open communication are tools that strengthen mental resilience over time. Finally, psychologists empower people to reframe their mindset. Seeking help is a proactive choice, not a sign of weakness. By emphasizing growth, self-awareness, and prevention, mental health care becomes a normalized, practical part of life, rather than a last resort measure. The combination of safety, education, early intervention, and proactive habits makes therapy effective. For those hesitant to take the first step, knowing that mental health care is structured, supportive, and preventive can be a game changer. Changing the mental health culture. If we want to truly change how society treats mental health, we need a cultural shift. The biggest game changer isn't just more psychologists or better treatments, it's transforming how we think, talk, and act around mental well-being. One of the most powerful tools is normalization. Think about how dental hygiene became a daily habit. A few generations ago, regular brushing wasn't common. Campaigns in schools, advertising, and public education made it normal. Today, brushing twice a day feels natural. The same can happen with mental health. If conversations about therapy, stress, or emotional struggles become as common as talking about nutrition or exercise, the stigma begins to fade. Another game changer is representation in media. When celebrities, athletes, or influencers openly share their experiences with therapy, it inspires millions to reconsider their own hesitation. A professional athlete admitting to seeing a psychologist challenges the idea that mental struggles equal weakness. Instead, it reframes therapy as strength, discipline, and self-care. Education is another cornerstone. Schools that introduce emotional intelligence training, stress management, and mental check-ins teach children from an early age that psychological well-being is as important as physical health. By the time those children grow up, going to a psychologist won't feel unusual. It will feel like common sense. Technology also plays a role. Online therapy, mental health apps, and digital resources make support more accessible. This reduces barriers for people who fear face-to-face sessions or live in areas with limited resources. Psychologists react positively to these innovations because they expand reach and flexibility, making early intervention possible for more people. But cultural change requires personal responsibility too. Each of us can normalize mental health care by talking openly, supporting friends who struggle, and treating therapy as routine rather than exceptional. Imagine if checking in with your mental state became as natural as scheduling your next dental appointment. Workplaces can also lead the way. Companies that provide access to mental health services, encourage open discussions, and promote work-life balance create environments where employees don't feel ashamed to seek help. This not only benefits individuals but also boosts productivity, creativity, and overall morale. The real game changer is shifting from a crisis-driven model to a preventive model. Just as brushing your teeth prevents cavities, daily mental health practices prevent emotional breakdowns. Therapy doesn't have to be a last resort. It can be a regular tool for growth, resilience, and clarity. Changing culture takes time, but every small step matters. Every conversation, every shared story, every open acknowledgement chips away at stigma. And as more people embrace mental hygiene, society as a whole becomes healthier, stronger, and more compassionate. Take action today. Taking care of your mental health should be as natural as brushing your teeth. The stigma, fear, and misunderstandings that hold people back are slowly fading, but the real change starts with you. If you've been putting off your own well-being, remember this: you don't have to wait for a crisis. Psychologists explain what helps most is early action, honest conversations, and small steps taken consistently. Therapy is not about weakness, it's about strength, growth, and prevention. So ask yourself, if you wouldn't ignore a toothache, why ignore your mind? Taking the first step toward better mental health could be the most important decision you make. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks and see you soon. Don't forget to upgrade your reality.